Hey everyone! Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Jane, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Young and the Restless, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. According to Monday, August 11th spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Claire Newman will see Audra Charles kissing Kyle Abbott, while Holden Novak is taken by surprise when Damien Kane's fate is revealed. Tessa Porter will be impressed by Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s guitar pen song in the park. Eventually, Tessa will discuss Mariah Copeland beginning therapy and essentially ask whether there's a cause to be afraid of her. Tessa will worry that her marriage might be ended because she might think Mariah lost it and did something she can't go back from. Mariah will be relieved that Nick Newman is doing well after his injuries at Crimson Lights and will be reeling from Sharon Newman's updates on the nice trip. When Sharon presses Mariah to talk about her choice to leave Tessa and move out, Mariah will talk about her wish to start over and find a therapist. Mariah will lash out, even though Sharon will get aggressive in her attempts to assist her daughter. If Sharon doesn't back off, Mariah will make it plain that she's prepared to put some distance between them as well. Claire will inform Victoria Newman at the Tack House that Audra was hired by Victor Newman to end her relationship with Kyle. Additionally, Audra's suggestion that whatever occurred with Kyle in France would irritate Claire. Claire won't like the way Kyle and Audra interact or the person Audra makes him into, even though she won't believe Kyle has affections for her. Claire will be annoyed at feeling confused and admit that she was mistaken about Jordan. Victoria will propose that they consider what Cole Howard might say when Claire expresses her desire to receive his guidance. Claire will ultimately determine that Cole would advise her to give Kyle the benefit of the doubt since he wouldn't want her to make snap judgments. Jack Abbott will be concerned about Audra's emboldenment when Victoria and he meet at the coffee shop in Monday's YNR episode. Victoria will worry about Claire because her daughter doesn't need to worry about anything else at the moment. Audra will inform Nate Hastings at Society that she has made the decision not to have Victor finance Vibrante. Audra will pretend that they must concentrate on Damien and his memorial at this time, but Nate will believe something happened and will question her extensively. Lily Winters will acknowledge that she arranged a meeting with Kane Ashby because Winters and other significant local businesses may be on his agenda. Since Vibrante is linked to Newman, Lily will even caution Audra that Kane would pursue them, but Audra refuses to reveal that their collaboration is terminated. Nate will be concerned that Victor is manipulating the Kane situation after Lily brings up his worries about him. Nate will advise Lily to exercise caution because she may be the only person who can reach Kane and persuade him to confide in her. Lily will be present when Holden knocks on the door because she will eventually be at Kane's GCAC apartment. Saying he knows Aristotle Dumas' true identity, Holden will act foolish and claim that he is there because Dumas contacted him about a business opportunity. Holden will seem to be astonished when Lily reveals that her ex-husband, Kane, is Dumas. It will become clear throughout the discussion that Holden is unaware of Damien's terrible destiny. Holden will be shocked when he asks inquiries and finds out that Damien was murdered when Lily confesses that he is dead. Lily will make Holden reconsider taking advantage of any business chances that Kane presents as she won't think he can be trusted. When they return to Society, Kyle will approach Audra and tell her that she's fortunate he didn't tell Nate about how she agitated Claire. Audra will bring up the fact that they had a kiss in Nice and pretend that Kyle had to have had a lot of willpower to stop. When it comes to him, Kyle will tell Audra to back off and suggest that she has met her match. Unfazed, Audra would later claim that she is still capable of luring Kyle. Claire will show up close by to watch that incredible moment when Audra gives Kyle a big kiss. Don't miss any of the excitement because according to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Claire will soon have some irate questions for Kyle. Claire hadn't meant to linger in the dimly lit hallway outside the Grand Phoenix Ballroom, but something about the muffled laughter and the hushed voices just beyond the partially closed door had caught her attention in a way she couldn't quite explain. It wasn't the normal kind of curiosity, the sort you brush off with a shrug and move on, but the prickling, gut-deep sensation that told her something was happening that she wasn't supposed to see, something that might matter, and against her. Better judgment, she took a slow step closer, her heels clicking softly on the marble until she found herself peering through the narrow gap, her breath caught in her throat as her eyes adjusted to the soft golden glow spilling from the room, and there they were, Audra and Kyle, standing much too close to be having an innocent conversation, his hand lightly resting on the small of her back in a way that seemed casual only if you weren't paying attention, and the way she tilted her head toward him. Smiling that sly, knowing smile Claire had seen Audra use to get her way with countless people in Genoa City, made Claire's stomach knot, but before she could decide whether she was reading too much into it, Kyle leaned in and pressed his lips to hers, not tentative, not hesitant, but with the easy familiarity of someone who had kissed her before, and the sight of it hit Claire harder than she expected, as if the air had been sucked from her lungs, because she knew Kyle had been trying, at least, pretending, to rebuild something with Summer, to show he was capable of putting their family first, and seeing him with Audra, of all people, felt like watching a carefully stacked tower topple in slow motion, every block crashing into the next until there was nothing left but wreckage. Her first instinct was to storm in, to call them both out right there, to demand what in the world they thought they were doing, but her feet stayed rooted to the floor, as if her body knew the danger in revealing herself before her mind did, and instead she watched, barely blinking, as the kiss deepened for a fraction of a second before Kyle pulled back, murmuring something that made Audra laugh softly, that low, throaty sound Claire had once mistaken for charm but now recognized as a warning bell. Audra's laugh always meant she'd gotten exactly what she wanted, or at least was one step closer, and Claire's mind raced, wondering whether this was some spur-of-the-moment lapse in judgment or part of a bigger scheme, because nothing about Audra Charles ever happened by accident. Claire's hand tightened around the strap of her clutch until her knuckles ached, her pulse hammering in her ears as she took in the way Kyle glanced toward the doorway, his brow furrowing ever so slightly as if he'd sensed a shift in the air, and for a split second she was sure he was going to see her standing there, but instead he looked back at Audra, saying something quieter now, his tone serious enough to wipe the grin from her face for a moment, though the flicker of amusement returned quickly as she reached up to smooth his lapel, her fingers lingering in a way that made Claire's skin crawl. It was surreal, standing there unseen, a witness to a moment that could change everything if it came to light, and she found herself wrestling with the knowledge that she could walk away and pretend she hadn't seen it, spare herself the headache of becoming the messenger everyone resents, or she could step inside, drop the truth like a grenade, and let the pieces fall where they may. Two choices, both of them messy, both of them dangerous in different ways, because no matter what Claire did, someone was going to get hurt, and in Genoa City, hurt rarely stayed contained to just one person. As she lingered in that tense in-between, she thought about Summer's face, the way her voice had sounded the last time they'd spoken about Kyle, hesitant but hopeful, almost as if she was afraid to jinx the progress they'd made, and Claire knew what this kiss would do to her, how it would feel like betrayal layered on top of every other betrayal, the kind that burrows deep and changes the way you look at someone forever. And maybe that was the real reason Claire couldn't just walk away, because she'd been on the receiving end of that kind of revelation before, and she wouldn't wish it on anyone she cared about, even if Summer sometimes kept her at arm's length. Inside the room, Kyle's hand brushed against Audra's cheek in a strangely tender gesture that didn't match the calculated smirk on her lips. And Claire realized with a jolt that this might not just be about physical attraction, there was a current of something else here, something she couldn't quite name but that made her certain this was more than just a one-off lapse, and the thought of it set off a chain reaction in her mind, connecting dots she hadn't even realized were related. Audra's sudden interest in Kyle's work at Marchetti, the way she'd been lingering around meetings she had no business attending, the pointed remarks about loyalty and ambition that had seemed harmless enough at the time but now rang with an edge she couldn't ignore. It was all part of something, and Claire wasn't sure if Kyle was a willing accomplice or just another pawn in Audra's endless game, but either way, the outcome would be the same: chaos, fallout, collateral damage that would ripple through families and business deals alike, because in this town, personal and professional lives were as tangled as the strings of a marionette, and cutting one inevitably made the others jerk in unpredictable ways. She could feel her own heartbeat quicken, the decision pressing against her from all sides, and yet she stayed put, almost hypnotized by the scene playing out before her, until Kyle finally stepped back, running a hand through his hair in that restless, conflicted way he had, and said something that made Audra tilt her head, studying him like he was both a puzzle and a prize, before she leaned in to murmur in his ear, her lips brushing his skin in a way that could have been intimate or manipulative, or both, and then, without another word, she slipped out a side exit, leaving Kyle alone in the golden light, staring at the floor as if weighing the weight of what had just happened. Claire took a half step back, her mind whirling, knowing she couldn't stay in the shadows forever, that eventually she'd have to decide what to do with what she'd seen. But for now she turned and walked away, each step echoing in the hallway. Like a countdown to the moment this secret would inevitably detonate, because if there was one thing Claire had learned in Genoa City, it was that the truth had a way of coming out, usually at the worst possible time, in the most public way, with the most devastating consequences, and as much as she wanted to believe she could control how this one unfolded, deep down she knew she was just another player on a board Audra had been setting up for weeks, maybe months, and by the time the game was over, no one, not Kyle, not Summer, not even Claire herself, would come out unscathed. The moment Claire witnesses Audra kissing Kyle is a pivotal scene that carries significant emotional and narrative weight. This single act of betrayal, whether real or perceived, can unravel the complex dynamics between the characters, exposing underlying tensions, insecurities, and unspoken desires. The implications of this encounter extend beyond the immediate shock, influencing character development, relationship trajectories, and thematic exploration. To fully grasp the depth of this moment, it is essential to examine the context in which it occurs, the motivations of each character involved, and the broader consequences that follow. Claire's perspective is crucial in understanding the impact of this revelation. Depending on her relationship with Kyle, whether they are romantically involved, friends, or merely acquaintances, her reaction will vary in intensity but will invariably be charged with emotion. If Claire has feelings for Kyle, whether openly expressed or hidden, witnessing him kiss Audra will trigger a visceral response. Jealousy, heartbreak, and a sense of betrayal may cloud her judgment, leading to impulsive decisions or confrontations. Even if Claire and Kyle are not romantically linked, the sight of Audra, a figure who may represent competition, envy, or unresolved conflict, kissing someone Claire cares about can stir deep-seated insecurities. The moment forces Claire to reassess her own position in the social or emotional hierarchy, questioning where she stands with Kyle and how Audra's presence disrupts that balance. Audra's motivations for kissing Kyle must also be scrutinized. Is this a spontaneous act of passion, a calculated move to provoke Claire, or an expression of genuine affection? If Audra is aware of Claire's feelings for Kyle, the kiss could be a deliberate power play, reinforcing dominance or exposing vulnerabilities. Alternatively, if Audra is oblivious to Claire's emotional stakes, the kiss may simply be an innocent moment that inadvertently causes collateral damage. Audra's character history plays a role here. Has she been established as manipulative, impulsive, or sincerely affectionate? Her past interactions with both Claire and Kyle will color the interpretation of this moment. If Audra has a history of rivalry with Claire, the kiss takes on a more antagonistic tone, whereas if she is generally indifferent to Claire, the act may carry less malice but still have unintended consequences. Kyle's role in this scenario is equally significant. His response to the kiss, whether he reciprocates, pulls away, or seems conflicted, shapes the narrative direction. If he is an active participant, it suggests complicity in the betrayal, damaging his relationship with Claire. If he is passive or surprised, it may indicate that Audra initiated the kiss without his consent, complicating the moral implications. Kyle's prior relationship with Claire also determines the severity of the fallout. If they were in an exclusive relationship, this moment becomes an outright betrayal, demanding confrontation and potential reconciliation or breakup. If their relationship was undefined, the ambiguity may lead to misunderstandings, with Claire feeling betrayed despite no formal commitment. Kyle's subsequent actions, whether he seeks Claire out to explain, avoids her, or remains oblivious to her distress, will further influence the emotional trajectory. The setting in which Claire witnesses the kiss adds another layer of meaning. A public kiss, observed in a crowded room, intensifies Claire's humiliation, as the betrayal is not just personal but socially visible. A private moment, accidentally stumbled upon, carries a different kind of intimacy, making the violation feel more invasive. The location itself, whether it's a party, a workplace, or a familiar hangout, can symbolize the shifting dynamics between the characters. A party, for instance, might frame the kiss as a reckless, alcohol-fueled mistake, whereas a workplace setting could imply deeper, more dangerous entanglements. The time of day, the lighting, and even the body language captured in that fleeting moment all contribute to the emotional resonance of the scene. The aftermath of Claire's discovery is where the true narrative consequences unfold. Does she confront Audra and Kyle immediately, leading to a heated argument? Or does she retreat, internalizing her pain and allowing resentment to fester? Her reaction will reveal her character, whether she is confrontational, passive-aggressive, or emotionally withdrawn. If she chooses silence, the tension may build until it erupts in a more destructive manner later. If she confronts them, the immediate fallout could lead to broken friendships, shifting alliances, or even unexpected confessions. The way other characters react to Claire's distress also matters. Do they take sides, dismiss her feelings, or remain neutral? This moment can serve as a litmus test for various relationships within the narrative, exposing loyalties and fractures. Thematically, this moment can explore trust, deception, and the fragility of relationships. If trust is a central theme, Claire's discovery undermines her faith in Kyle, Audra, or even herself. If the story deals with miscommunication, this moment may arise from a series of misunderstandings, where intentions are misread and actions are misinterpreted. The kiss could also symbolize larger conflicts, unresolved romantic tensions, power struggles, or the consequences of unspoken desires. Depending on the genre, the scene could veer into melodrama, psychological realism, or even dark comedy, each tone altering the significance of the event. In a broader narrative arc, this moment could serve as a turning point. For Claire, it may be the catalyst for personal growth, forcing her to reevaluate her relationships, assert her boundaries, or recognize her own worth. For Kyle, it could be a moment of reckoning, where he must confront his own feelings and the consequences of his actions. For Audra, it may be the beginning of her own moral dilemma, especially if she realizes the pain she has caused. The fallout from this kiss could drive the plot forward, leading to new alliances, betrayals, or revelations that reshape the story's direction. Ultimately, the power of this scene lies in its emotional authenticity. Whether the kiss was a fleeting mistake or a deliberate act of betrayal, Claire's reaction must feel genuine, grounded in her character's history and personality. The audience's sympathy may shift depending on how each character handles the situation. Claire's pain may evoke empathy, Kyle's response may elicit frustration or forgiveness, and Audra's motives may inspire anger or pity. The complexity of human relationships ensures that no single interpretation is definitive. Instead, the moment thrives on its ambiguity, allowing for multiple layers of meaning. The lasting impact of Claire seeing Audra kiss Kyle depends on how the narrative chooses to resolve, or prolong, the tension. Will there be reconciliation, or will the betrayal drive an irreversible wedge between the characters? Will the truth behind the kiss be revealed, or will misunderstandings continue to fester? The scene's effectiveness hinges on its ability to feel consequential, altering the characters' trajectories in a way that resonates emotionally. Whether this moment leads to heartbreak, personal revelation, or an unexpected twist, its significance lies in its ability to expose the raw, unfiltered emotions that define human connection and disconnection.